Hey everyone, James Reeves. We're here at Black Trident HQ in Austria. I'm with Mr. Raoul Wagner, who's been an attorney in Austria for 20 years. We get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, international gun laws. So, Raoul, thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It is truly an honor
Pleasure
to have you. I'm an Austrian. Can I own a gun?
Yes, but it actually depends on which gun you want to use. That's the lawyer's standard answer. It depends. Okay? So there are a lot of
I like this guy.
there are a lot of general rules and then exceptions. So I start with the general rule. Every Austrian citizen, actually every European EU citizen who just happens to be in Austria, can buy a gun in a gun store, but he has to have a cool down period. So you buy it on Monday, you have to wait for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to pass. There's a background check being done in this meantime, and on Friday you can pick it up so that you don't go very angry to the gun store, buy a shotgun and kill your neighbor because he insulted you.
Right, sure.
That's the cool down phase. And these basic guns everybody can own and buy when he's 18 years old. It's a limited class of guns. That's category C, like Caesar. It includes no pistols, no semi-autos, no revolvers. All these guns must be at least 60 centimeters long, which is about 24 inches.
24 inches, yeah.
24 inches, and they must not be semi-automatic. So it has to be a bolt-action rifle or a break-action rifle. And very strangely, in Austria, the pump-action shotgun is totally illegal. Category A, you cannot acquire it only.
Illegal?
Illegal. Pump-action shotgun is absolutely illegal in Austria. Because we had one guy in the 90s or 80s, I think late 1980s, who killed a bunch of people with a pump-action shotgun and a Ronald Reagan mask. So they called him Pump Gun Ronnie. And our great politicians had no better idea than to actually outlaw the pump-action shotgun. Strangely enough, the pump-action rifle here
Totally
is the
fine.
easiest category you can buy at 18 years old.
Pump-action rifle.
Pump, like the Remington 7615P or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, super obscure. Okay.
Yeah, but they reach out to 5,000 meters, and the pump-action shotgun.
Yeah. Just because you had one guy who happened to be particularly good, particularly crazy.
Yes.
Got it, ruined it for everybody. It's always one asshole.
Yes.
Walk me through the classes. What you have,
Okay.
A, B, and C?
A, B, and C, yes. C is the lowest. So C is what you can buy and own when you're 18 years old. When you have a hunting license and you're 16, in some provinces of Austria, you can already carry them when you're 16 years old, but you can't own them. You have to own them, you have to be 18, but you can have them from your parents, bring them back and go hunting.
Okay.
But not in every province. We have 9 provinces and some allow it, some don't. So category C, like Caesar, is what I just said, bolt-action rifles.
Magazines? Magazines?
No,
okay.
there's no limit.
In the bolt action?
In the bolt action, there is no limit. There's a magazine capacity limit for semi-autos, but that's then in category B. So category C, we basically just went through bolt actions.
Break open.
Every repeating rifle, even the pump action repeating rifle, and the break open stuff. The combined, we have a lot of combined hunting weapons. I don't know if you have them in the States where you have a shotgun barrel and a rifle barrel.
Yeah.
That's, I think, more a European
it is,
thing.
but they exist in the US.
They exist, they're very expensive. I don't have one. I don't see the point, but that's everybody's own preference.
Yeah.
Then we have category B, which are all semi-automatics. Doesn't matter whether a shotgun or a
Pistol.
Rifle, pistol, revolver. And the Faustfeuerwaffen, as we say, the pistols, which is, we actually, in English, you say even a revolver is a pistol. In German, you say pistol for semi-autos and revolver for revolvers. So there's a little differentiation here. Yeah, that's just a language thing. So everything that you can hold in one hand and that's shorter than 60 centimeters is B anyways, and all the semi-autos. And then we have category A, which is the illegal weapons. This is even divided in 2 subgroups. One is the war material, which is full auto, grenades,
the fun stuff.
The fun. Tanks and all that stuff. Yeah. Submarines, ICBMs, what have you.
God, that sounds hot.
Yeah, I want one in my backyard. Why can I have one? I pay my taxes.
Yeah.
And the other class, the other subgroup of category A is just the forbidden weapons. Those don't even need to be firearms. if you have a cell phone that can shoot a 22 caliber bullet, it's an item that pretends not to be a weapon but is a weapon, or a cane dagger, anything like that. That's all illegal weaponry, and also all full autos, and the silencer, for example.
Silencer is in A.
Silencer is in A, but there's a big but. And strangely enough, the pump action shotgun is category A. And for A, now I can talk you through the permits maybe.
Yeah.
So for C, you just have to be 18 to buy and own. To carry, you need a special permit, which can be a hunting permit. With an Austrian hunting permit from any of the 9 Austrian provinces, you can carry 24/7 in all provinces, all the time, anywhere, but only those long hunting guns. So nobody.
If I have a bolt-action rifle, I've got my Class C license or what have you.
There's no license. You just go to the shop. You go with some ID that proves that you're a citizen of the European Union and that you're 18 years old, and then you can buy it and pick it up on the 4th day after you bought it, or you have already some kind of permit. Then you can pick it up already.
And I can walk around in this parking lot with it slung over my shoulder. And
yes, a great friend of
legal,
mine. Yeah, a great friend of mine who used to be a police general, now is deceased, but he was one of my teachers also in hunting law. Said that's and he teaches now. I teach now the courses that he taught in hunting school. Has said to this example of yours, weapon law wise, it's perfectly legal. Medically, it's very interesting. So, of course, a police special unit will pin you to the ground and you'll be talking to a psychiatrist.
Right.
But if you walk from your home, like my hunting area is, I'm very fortunate, is 1 kilometer from my house. So I can actually just grab my gun and walk to my hunting area.
No big deal.
Through the city center, it's a little village outside of Vienna. Absolutely okay.
But if I go to the Christmas market and get a turbo punch in Vienna and I've got a...
You might be shot before by Austrian special police sitting on the roof guarding the Christmas market.
Yeah, sure.
At least you will be stopped and asked questions and you will talk to a psychiatrist.
Okay, you will.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's the category C. It's maybe 16. 16, I can carry it, but I don't own it. But 18, at that point, I can own it.
Yes.
I've got to take a hunting course.
General rule is you can just own it and keep it at home for self-defense, use it for sports, transport it to a shooting range. Transporting means unloaded, separate from the ammunition. So you need a closed bag. There's some rifle bag is enough. And the ammunition must not be in the gun. So the magazines must be empty. Because the magazine is in there, you just repeat the action and it's done. And if you want to carry, you can carry those for example, with a hunting license. And in some Austrian provinces, you can acquire a hunting license, which is a lengthy process, by the way.
How lengthy?
With 16 years old and some with 18. Well, you only have to take the exam, but the exam, you have no chance taking it without a proper course. And the courses where I teach from the official law Austrian courses are 3 months, 2 evenings a week, 2 hours. And I think it's 3 or 4 weekends on the shooting range. And and you have to practice and you have to study.
I think we have doctors with less schooling than that in the United States. Let me throw you a curveball. Category C, can I have 27 bolt-action rifles?
Yes.
Okay, so as many as I want.
2,700 if you want.
Okay.
Well, actually you can't, because I'm afraid you're only an American citizen.
Right, sure.
And until 2016, this wouldn't have been a problem. But then with the problem of mass migration into Austria, and about half a year after this all started, the authorities realized, whoa, we have hundreds, thousands of young men coming in from anywhere, and they can just go to the big hunting store and pick tons of ammunition and hunting rifles and do whatever they want with it. Well, they're not allowed to do it, but then they own it.
Right.
So they rather quickly established a ban for every non-EU resident to purchase firearms in Austria. So you could, by the way, because you're not a resident here. But if you are a foreign citizen, non-EU citizen, and you have your residence here, it's very hard for you now to own any weapon, even a pepper spray. Because they made a very broad law to disarm them all, to get all the people they're afraid of.
Now let's move up to Class B.
Class B.
So I want to own, I'm an Austrian.
Yes.
I've got my Class C. I can buy whatever Class C. I've got my hunting. I want to own Class B stuff.
So you want to buy a pistol, a revolver,
Oh, yeah.
semi-automatic rifle, semi-automatic shotgun.
Yeah, I want to buy a whole bunch of them.
Or even, that's one of the most funny parts of Austrian gun law, manually operated shotgun other than pump is B. So you can have it. It's not totally legal. So for category B, you need a permit. You have to be at least 18 years old. There's some exceptions for professional hunters, apprentices, and so on, but you have to be in general 21 years old. You have to give a reason why you want to buy it, but you just have to state sports is a reason. Sports is a reason, defense is a reason, and hunting is a reason. But you just have to state, I want this for this reason, and it's okay. Then there's a bigger background check. You have to have a clean slate, no criminal offenses, so on, and you have to go through a firearms training course, which is about, I think, half a day. If you have a hunting license, you don't need it because you have your training. And every 5 years, the police comes to your house randomly, just rings the door and says, we want to check your guns and how you store them. And if there's a gun just lying around somewhere, you will lose all your permits and your guns. So you have to keep them safe. You can carry them at home, of course. You can have them on your body or in some kind of safe so that nobody who doesn't have the permit or who is not entitled to have them, it's category C, can grab them, use them, or whatever. So
I imagine if you tell them you can't come in, then they say, okay, well then we're taking your license.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can't tell them they can't come in. They can't come in on a Saturday, on a Sunday, bank holiday, and Monday to Saturday they can come in on certain hours of the day. I recommend all my clients, when I teach courses, let them in anyways, because some neighbor or some ex-girlfriend, somebody who's angry at you, can plant a false lie saying they saw you having the gun just beside the bed without a safe or anything, and then they can come anytime. Which is important because it's a safety issue, and if there's kids around and there's guns lying around, it's not a good thing. So I always teach them, don't cite the law to the policeman checking you. Let them in, make some coffee, give them some cookies, and that will be okay.
Right. Back to the category B. Can I own as many category?
No. In category B is limited to a certain amount of slots or lots. We say places, but so you start with the first permit, which is your owning permit, the Besitzkarte, which means the first time you apply, you can have 2. If you only acquired the possession permit, the first time you get only 2.
Okay, and then does that number ever increase?
Yes, you can. After 5 years of being a good gun owner of category B, you can apply for 5, so 3 more, without any reason given. Just say, okay, I've been okay, I want more, and then they give you a total of 5. Then from 5 to 10, you can increase every 2 years with reasoning that it's not very difficult, but from 10 on plus, you have to give a very precise reasoning for every gun. I have clients who have 60 or 50. One now will get a permit for 147. He's a collector. But you have to we had to come with an expert, with a certified gun expert actually evaluated the concept of his collection and so on and so forth. And he said, yeah, well, he has this and that, and these guns are very valuable, and they checking the auctions where he bought it. And the other one with 64 now, I think, is an IPSC European champion.
So he needs these for tournament shooting. I need this gun to compete in this tournament and this one to compete.
And once you're European champion in IPSC, they don't ask too many questions. You have a ton of medals, European, national, and then it's quite obvious that you need a race gun, a training gun, and cross-training guns, and then they're reasonable in that respect.
Yeah, so a bit of a pain in the ass to get more than 10 guns.
We have a different approach here in Europe, which I think is not really the correct one, but it's just to explain it. You have to always explain why you need a gun. In most places, especially with category B. Why do you need this? So it's not your right to have as many as you want to, but you have to explain why I need it. But if you actually have a need for more than 10, even more than 5, there will be a reason. So you can say, okay, I need 7, I need this and that for self-defense, then I shoot in 3 IPSC categories, divisions as they call it, and I need a race gun and a training gun, and for hunting, I need a handgun that reliably stops a pig, so I need a 44 Magnum or more. and a little one to kill a badger in a trap. So then you have a lot of reasons, and if you can put it down and prove that you're actually doing these competitions, that you're going out hunting, then you will get these permits. If you don't listen to the authorities, because most of the time, if my clients call them, they say, "Nah, you don't get it. The law doesn't provide for that." And then always we have to file an appeal, or at least the motion for the permit, and then they do. But calling Austrian authorities on gun issues and asking them whether you can have something almost never works, because they just send you home and say, "Nah, it doesn't work."
Sure. So you have to maybe get a lawyer to do it.
They have a lawyer, or just at least write.
Fees. What types of fees are we talking about? Government fees, not your attorney's fees.
Low. I think the Waffenbesitzer, the category C, you have nothing.
Free.
Yeah, free. If you want to carry it for hunting, you need a hunting license, and I think at the moment, the entire package with the school, rental rifles, rental and the ammunition you use, and the training, and the fee for the exam is, I think, less than €1,000.
Okay.
So that's feasible.
Oof. If you told people in America you'd need to pay $1,000 to get a hunting
allowed
rifle, oh my God, there'd be
No, to
armed.
be allowed to go hunting at all.
Oh yeah.
But you have
No,
to be qualified.
That would not fly.
You have to be qualified to
Yeah.
go hunting.
Well, yeah, in the United States,
I heard.
yeah, you don't need to qualify for shit, buddy.
I heard. We are very strictly regulated. So you have to go to courses, you have to have permits, and then you can do stuff. But once you have the permits and you have the courses and the qualifications, your risk of being held liable for something is much lower than in the States. In the States, they don't regulate this much, but if you make a grave mistake, you pay millions.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And that's just a different approach. I can't say which I like more, but for the average guy who is just trying to do something, the approach that you have a certification, you are trained, and you can say, okay, I did it the way I was trained, and there's no liability, is pretty assuring.
Okay, so there's limited liability if you have the appropriate permits here in Austria.
Well, if you have it's like driving a car. You're not allowed to go hunting without the permit, and the permit is only valid if you paid in also the insurance. So you have a high-level, very good insurance, and you have learned a lot. And if you just stick to the rules you have learned and you apply the procedures you have learned, then there is no liability.
So that's a defense, a negligence defense?
Yes.
Okay, you can say I did everything that I was supposed to do. And then if you even breach that duty, if you were in fact negligent, you have insurance to cover you. And that's mandated to have the insurance.
And
okay, that
Austria
makes
is
sense.
pretty densely populated. We have 50% of Austria is wood, so there's nobody living there. But the rest is just narrow villages. And we have 10 million people in the size of Maine. So if a bullet goes wrong,
it's going to hit someone.
The chance to hit someone is there. It's not like Wyoming where the backstop is the distance. It doesn't work here.
Magazine capacity limits?
None for category C. If you have a hunting rifle, you can put in a 10 or 30 round magazine. If you go to a driven hunt and there's lots of pigs, many people go there with big magazines, not a problem. Category B, there was no limit until the European Union started. I think it was in 2015 also the terror attacks in Paris in the Bataclan, and a week later the European Commission issued a document saying we have a full directive now banning all semi-automatic weapons. They had it in their desk waiting for the right moment to put it on the desk. And they wanted to ban every semi-automatics. Then they wanted to ban everything that's semi-automatic and looks like a war weapon. So we wrote to the European institutions and said, well, that's great. So we make him look like a hairdresser in pink. So we can still keep him. So they dropped that argument. And then there was a lengthy process, and in that process, a European movement called Firearms United was born and came to life. It's comparable to the NRA, somewhat like that. And they actually started pushing a lot, and then I had the privilege to be invited to a hearing in the European Parliament with a commissionary, which is kind of a secretary. If the European Union were the United States, a commissionary would be a secretary. So this would have been the Secretary of Commerce, interestingly, who was behind this directive. And Firearms United made a very good move, presenting, at the time, 42-year-old Swedish beautiful mother, who happened to be, I think, European champion in IPSC rifle shooting, semi-auto. and she said, "Do you want to take my sport away?" So they had nothing. They had no argument. And in a way, they succeeded that they were able to ban magazines for rifles, semi-auto rifles with a capacity of more than 10 shots, and for pistols more than 20 shots. So for the average pistol guy, it doesn't really make a difference because
most of them 17,
any
18
pistol
rounds
you carry,
anyways. Yeah.
It's 19 max, I think.
Right.
I would carry a Glock 19 with 15 rounds or
Right.
But for the rifles, it's a problem. But there also where we managed, or Firearms United managed to, and all the pressure groups to implement exceptions. So if you can prove a reason why you need the long magazine, you can still even buy them if you didn't have them before, and if you had them before, you can keep them. And there was a 2-year period which the law took to get into force, and lots of magazines were sold before that. So many people now have the magazines and had them on the critical day.
We say grandfathered in.
Yes, that's the stuff. Yeah.
Now moving on to Class A.
Yes.
That is semi-automatic rifles.
Semi-automatic rifles with long magazines.
Okay.
Pistols with long magazines.
Okay.
And the pump-action shotgun, very, very bad.
And silencers, right?
And silencers, yeah.
If I'm your average Austrian citizen, I'm not getting any of this.
Well, that depends. I was very fortunate that and actually I'm very proud of this, that I pushed forward in many court cases for silencers for hunters, mainly because I wanted the ears of my dog to be safe. Because whenever I go out hunting and I hunt a lot, I did put on my earmuffs, but my dog had all the noise.
Yeah.
So I found out there's a provision in the Austrian federal weapons law. Silencers are illegal, but if you have a legitimate interest, it's in the authorities' discretion to give you one. And discretion means they have to give you an opinion which has to have a reasoning. So I brought forward all the arguments, and I was actually able to acquire a silencer permit for myself, not being an owner of a hunting ground, just a guy who more or less rents it, and certified. It's like a hunting K9 unit. So if there's an accident and a boar or a deer is being hit, then they have to call somebody with a dog to track it and to kill it in the end, and that's one of my occupations. And for that, I then got the silencer permit. And then I said, great, now for all the hunters.
Right.
And with about 30 more applications and trials, we made so much pressure that I could invite one judge who was skeptical, but a good judge, into my hunting area and say, I will just show you. It is still loud. People will hear that we're shooting, but we're not getting the ear damage that we got before. Then a newspaper came with their TV channel, and they filmed it, and we put it online. And then even the resistance of the administrative court dropped.
That's really cool.
And ever since 2019, every Austrian hunter who has a valid hunting license can buy silencers for whatever he wants to.
That's an amazing
Rifles,
accomplishment.
pistols, whatever.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's an incredible
Actually, I'm very proud of that.
You should be.
Yeah.
I think you ought to be.
But there's one thing I have to say. There was one German doctor and firearms expert. His name is Dr. Christian Neitzel, who wrote the book, Silencers for Hunting Rifles. And I couldn't have one without his book. And the ironic thing is that with my work, based on his book, we were faster getting the silencer for all Austrian hunters than the Germans were. But it took the Germans 1 or 2 years more, and now it's established.
What about AR-15s? Any chance?
Why would an Austrian buy an AR-15 instead of an AUG?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Very fair question.
No.
Can I get an AUG?
Yes, you can get an AUG. It's category B with a 10-shot magazine, and
But
the AR-15 as well.
Okay.
They're semi-auto rifles, 10-shot magazines max, so it's category B, so you have to be 21.
And I could apply for that extended magazine permit. There's probably not a good chance I'm going to get it.
No, there's a good chance. If you actually use it and you train and you shoot IPSC or what have you competitions where you need them to be competitive, yes.
What you can own, what you can possess versus the United States, other than nuances like pump shotguns per se, it seems like you guys can own a lot of what we own. There's just a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of licensure. You have insurance requirements, so on. But for the most part, you can own what we can own in the U.S.
Yeah, more or less, and it depends also in the US, as you know better than I do, on the state, of
Yeah,
course.
sure, of course. Well, it sounds like you guys can own more than Californians
Yeah,
can. I
sure,
mean that,
sure.
or New Yorkers,
Yes,
as you're
yes,
probably
which is
aware.
unconstitutional, as we
Right.
both
Yeah,
agree.
sure. Yeah. So if Austria were a state, you guys would be like above Massachusetts, New York, Illinois,
Well,
California.
there's one-
You'd be kind of in the lower third.
There's one very important thing in Austria. We have also stand your ground.
Oh, that is very important.
Yes.
Okay.
So also in Germany, the lawful does not have to avoid the unlawful. So if somebody attacks me, if the guy says, I will be in the same coffee shop tomorrow with my 15 cousins and we're gonna hit you badly, I can be in the same coffee shop tomorrow with my 15 shooting buddies and we're just having peaceful coffee, and if they attack us, it's their problem because we are acting lawfully and they don't. We don't have to step aside.
Legally speaking, Austria, not so bad.
No,
Not so
actually,
bad.
No. Austria, Switzerland, Czech Republic is more advanced. They have now a
Oh, yeah,
constitutional
yeah.
right to carry, as you, I'm sure,
Yeah.
have covered. It's not the worst place to live if you are, have your shooting interest, you want to defend yourself, or you want to go hunting.
Now, Raoul, we're almost out of time, but I want to ask you briefly about ammunition limits. Is there a limit on how much ammunition I can own?
No, if you have more than, I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 shots at home, you have to file with the police that you have more than average, and you have to display how you're going to protect it. So if you have an alarm system, if you have steel boxes, then it's okay. They come check it if it's okay. Hollow points are illegal in all of the EU, kind of, but there's another illegal EU regulation that made its way into the law books. But almost every EU member state found a way around it. So if you have a hunting license, or if you have a sports shooters pass, which means you are a member of a big sport shooters organization, you can buy hollow points.
Concealed handgun permit. That's a little bit tricky here.
It's a little bit tricky. Actually, also one of the things I'm very proud of, this Brigadier General I told you about from the police forces told me in 2014 while we're taking hunting exams, that he said, my boys don't get carry permits anymore. I said, what the hell do you mean? He said, my police officers don't get off-duty carry permits anymore because the administrative court says no. A police officer doesn't need a gun in his off-duty time. If he is in danger, he can call the police because they arrive in the split seconds by lightning beam, of course. Yeah?
Yes.
So I told him, as a citizen, I won't take that. Send me one special forces, special unit police guy with a good case, and I will fight him through, and I did. We fought his case through, and we won. And then based on that, I offered every police officer in Vienna for 180 euros flat, which is nothing, the whole proceeding. And I had 70 clients, and then we had a big media campaign, and we managed to have the law changed. Every off-duty, that every police officer is entitled to have an off-duty carry permit.
Average citizen, though?
Average citizen, no chance. You have to have a need. So there's actually two provisions in the law. You have to have a need, a requirement, then they have to give you one. But they get more and more restrictive on that. It becomes kind of ridiculous. So if you are riding in a fortified truck collecting cash, you have no need because the money is insured. The authorities don't realize that the burglar is or the robber is not threatening them to shoot the money. He threatens to shoot the person.
Shoot the person.
So you want to defend the person.
Right.
What we achieved, however, is that when you're hunting now, you can also carry, while hunting, a handgun, a pistol or a revolver, which was very difficult before. And if you are a game warden like I am, you get a carry permit that's 24/7. The only carry permit that's relatively easy to acquire here is the hunting permit, but that's for long guns.
Right.
And handguns if you're actually hunting.
Okay.
But the long guns is 24/7.
Okay. The long guns, Category C, bolt-action hunting rifles, stuff like that, open carry, not very difficult to get.
Not very difficult.
Class B, to get the carry license for that.
Yes.
Very difficult.
Yes.
Especially for the average citizen.
And the Class B carry license aims on concealed carry of pistols, auto pistols and revolvers, of course, but it also contains semi-automatic rifles, repeating action shotguns, that's just included.
Full auto, no chance.
Full auto, very slight chance. Very, very slight. If you happen to be a close protection officer of the president
Okay.
You have
So,
a Glock 18 full auto carry.
sure. Very, very, very slight chance.
There are some.
Yeah, there are a
there are a
few,
few.
but not many.
No.
Before we conclude this interview, a personal question. You can only own one gun. What is it?
Glock 19.
Oh, I love that. No hesitation.
No.
Austrian handgun, Glock 19.
Glock 19.
That might be my answer too.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
If it has to be a handgun. If it's a rifle, Plaza R8, my hunting rifle, which you might not even know, do you?
Oh, no, not really.
Okay, it's
hunting rifle guy.
it's not a bolt action. It's a repeating rifle with a direct pull.
Oh,
And
okay, so it's a straight pull.
It's a straight pull, and it has a very interesting locking mechanism that really, like a claw, goes into the barrel. It locks in the barrel. The action is very short. It's quite expensive, but it's the most accurate, shortest, and most handy hunting rifle we have because also with just one flick of your wrist, you can take out the magazine and the trigger. So the gun is safe just like that.
Fair enough.
I want my hunting rifle.
No, that's a great answer. And Raoul, I want to say again, thank you for being on the program.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
No, the pleasure all on this side of the table. It truly is an honor to have you.
It's an honor to be here.
I am proud of you. You should be proud of yourself for everything that you've accomplished for European gun owners. I mean, truly, I hope that everyone really understands what you've done for people in your own country.
Many people who did a lot. Many people who did a lot.
You know, I think you'd fit in just great in the United States.
I'm thinking about it, actually.
Yeah, hey, come on over. Come on over. It's a whole lot of fun. Speaking of a whole lot of fun, guys, stay tuned. We're bringing you more from Austria and Black Trident. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.